My name is Emmanuel Hales from Newport News, Virginia. Basically, I started my company in 2007. It's Green America Corporation. I recently created a nonprofit, which is Virginia United Green. First, I printed it off. I read the entire stimulus package. It took me 3 days. Went through, highlighted it, color coded it, tabbed it all up, and just identified all the different niche areas where the funding can be tied into. Then one of the key things I realized was that the states had to go into a partnership with an organization or an entity to decide where that money was going to be distributed, especially under the Green Jobs Act, which was $500 million. So what I did is I went out, started sending a lot of emails, phone calls, trying to identify who this organization or entity was. They heard about me from all of my question asking. I guess it kind of got around to them that somebody was inquiring, wanting to know who they were. And they came to my office and knocked on my door. The next day I met with those individuals. They invited me to lunch. And that afternoon I was sitting on their board meeting. Come to find out, there was a ton of community colleges in there and other higher end organizations. And there were no programs indicated or in the process of being funded for pathways out of poverty in the inner city. So what I asked the question, where's the pathway out of poverty section of this? Where's the money for the disadvantaged individuals? And they quite frankly told me honestly that we knew that was a big part of the bill and we had to tie that in somehow, but until you walked in the room, we had no idea. And that kind of baffled me because these individuals are about to get a ton of revenue coming through, and we at the bottom level, who the money's really intended for, were still left out of the picture. The money is intended for it to start at the bottom and for us to reinvest in the economy in order to grow our wealth, but it was still being left up at the top and waiting for the money to trickle down to us, which isn't right. So I just encourage individuals to find out who those entities are, the decision makers, and approach them and put yourself in a position where you can offer something. City council members, project economic development members of the cities, the Green Building Council, local chapter, some other green organizations. Never met any of them a day in my life. I actually put myself, and I positioned myself where I'm now on 2 of the committees with this entity that's working with the state. I was lucky enough to get put on their finance committee, so I get to help decide where the money's going to be spent, which is a big thing. And what they're going to look to do is they're going to look to market their model throughout the country. And they needed people to write policy and procedure, so I put myself on their policy and procedure, so I'm helping to actually write the model with this entity. So now I put myself in leadership positions with them so that I can become one of the actual decision makers. Read, find out how you can tie yourself into that niche area, and find out who the politicians are and let them position your proposals up at the front of the line. But make sure that you're knowledgeable on how you're going to position yourself, because if you don't tie yourself into that key niche area, you're going to get bumped back to the bottom of the line. Because there's a lot of influence tied in whenever there's money tied into anything. So you definitely have to recognize that and keep that in mind.